looks good. Tom will do it.
A cancel all plans cold. Or a camera off kind of cold. Limsit for warm and effective relief from cold and flu symptoms. However you cold and flu, Limsit it.
Understand the mistakes that a lot of these individuals have made, but I do believe in second chances, especially if you are trying to promote change. I mean, if somebody's trying to better themselves, I mean, who would you be to try to stand in the way of that? Obviously, we need more good people, on this planet, and just because you've made certain mistakes does not necessarily mean that you cannot grow emotionally, spiritually, and or physically from these mistakes. And some of the behaviors that I have seen from certain individuals, and funnily enough, it tends to be a lot of younger people. And it's like when you don't have people to fall back on type of thing. A lot of people have family to fall back on, but you have to wake up and realize that sooner or later it's up to you. It's not up to anybody else to help pay your bills and stuff like this. It's called growing up and stepping into adulthood. And I think that trying to run people down dependent upon their situation is weak. it's extremely weak. Um, you don't actually understand where and what these individuals are going through before you see them. And just because certain individuals don't look as fresh as you does not necessarily mean that they are not worthy of having a hot shower. And it's the little things, it's a hot shower and things like that that a lot of these individuals find it extremely hard to obtain. And when you find yourself washing yourself out of a public toilet sink, and trust me, there's a lot of people who have been here, and obviously when you are homeless, well, hygiene is everything, obviously. And I think that there are a lot of younger people that do sort of need a tiny bit of a wake-up call sort of thing, especially when it comes to your options and things like this. And I feel like there's a lot of individuals, and I'm not trying to call anybody out or anything like that, because who am I to call you out for your behaviours when myself, I'm not perfect myself yet. So, and obviously I am always trying to put in the necessary work that is required for spiritual growth and or emotional growth, because obviously in this world it's nobody's responsibility to teach you. It's nobody's responsibility to tell you and or force you to unlearn the toxic behaviors that you have obtained throughout your high school years and or university years. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's just young people who exhibit these certain toxic behaviors, but a little compassion and kindness goes a long way. And obviously when you are extremely busy trying to get things sorted for yourself, you're obviously not going to be able to be your freshest. And with a lot of these homeless individuals, self-esteem sort of comes into it, and when you're rocking up and you're, obviously you're stinking, you haven't had a shower, and obviously this can have a detrimental effect on your mental health. And obviously, if you're not in the right state of mind, how on earth are you supposed to do the basic things in life, like have a normal, decent conversation with individuals that are healthy, that can sort of, I wouldn't say necessarily put you on the right path, but because that is your responsibility to pick up on these things. And the one thing that you probably shouldn't do in this life, I fully lost my train of thought. I was just turning this music down. You know, there are a lot of homeless individuals that are finding it extremely tough to find accommodation, and all it takes is a little kindness and compassion, and it goes a long way, and a little understanding of situations, because you don't know when you might just find yourself in a particular predicament. Because let's just say, it's like having money is one thing, but you do have to have somewhere to go, sort of thing, and people like me, I don't have much money, obviously, but I make the best with what I've got, and that's exactly what you're supposed to do in life, is to make the best with what you've got. And I'm a very big believer in karmic retribution. I'm a very big believer in this, and obviously everybody must pay for their due areas, and me myself, I'm not perfect, I've made mistakes, I've been to prison, I've done stupid things, and obviously there comes a time in your life where you should probably reflect on these things that you have been going through, and probably hold yourself accountable to some degree. Now, a lot of the time you might find yourself in situations where you are around toxic individuals and you're not connecting on a level that you need to, that is healthy, and this is going to bring you down, and chances are you should probably cut this off because, well, life is hard enough, and obviously currently New Zealand is in a recession. I mean, it's no secret. I mean, look at the food prices, things like this. I mean, trying to juggle all these things when you are living paycheck to paycheck is, well, it is, and it can be extremely difficult, you know. And I just think that a little bit of kindness could probably go a long way, and it's not a matter of giving people handouts or anything like that, but you know, it's just the little things. It's like this hoodie here. You know, I was I was given this hoodie because obviously, you know, I'm struggling. I don't have very many clothes or anything like that at the moment, and obviously you probably would have seen me with a cigarette. And obviously, you know, yeah, habits have a lot to do with where you're going in life, and if you cannot get on top of your habits, smoking habits, drinking habits, and things like this, these are the little things that you could try to minimize in order to get you that extra mile. You know, if you're finding yourself lacking nutrition and you're buying cigarettes instead of focusing on your health, then you're making a decision. And that decision is that, well, you're sacrificing your health for a temporary stimulant. And obviously, I should probably take my own advice, but I know damn well that it's extremely hard, especially to give up smoking when you've been smoking for years. Drinking, it's these habits, they're not as easy as individuals would say that they are to kick, because I mean, let's face it, you know, times are very tough out here, and you know, everybody wants a little escape every now and then. You know, you get burnt out, and you know, you just want to get blackout drunk. You know, oh, trust me, if anybody knows the feeling I do, you know, it's like, but you need to come to the realization that if these certain habits are holding you back to a degree, so if you're waking up in the morning, and I'm not trying to target people with addiction issues, because me myself, I do struggle with addiction issues. I mean, not with alcohol and or drugs, but most certainly with cigarettes. I have a cigarette habit from hell, and obviously, you know, me myself, I do need to get on top of these things, but I do feel like if individuals can somehow start and put a certain routine in for themselves, and it's all about building that mental discipline within yourself, and well, growing up to a certain degree. And as I say, addiction is addiction. You know, it's extremely hard to fight, but making excuses for yourself as well is probably not going to help you. And obviously, you are going to relapse every now and then, and this is completely fine. And I mean, me, I'm no counselor or anything like that, but I do think that, you know, giving a little bit of advice here and there would, you know, it helps out. You know, there's a lot of individuals out here who have no family, not very many friends or anything like that, and they do find themselves extremely lonely on a day-to-day basis. And the more you become one with yourself, so the longer you're by yourself, I've noticed a lot of individuals find it extremely hard to communicate because of anxiety and or depression. And these things can sort of send you into a downward spiral, which is why it is crucial to have individuals in your life who, I guess, are healthy individuals. And it's a vicious cycle, you see, because, you know, obviously there's a lot of healthy individuals whom they don't judge people. You know, I can't speak on behalf of everyone, but I can speak on behalf of my own experiences, sort of thing. And I'm going to jump back to the whole homeless vibe here for a second, because I think it's absolutely ridiculous and appalling, a lot of these people's behaviour when it comes to individuals being homeless. If you found yourself in the exact same predicament, I mean, obviously you do have to stay out of your feelings when you are homeless, because your number one goal is your safety, security, and or finding shelter, because obviously you're a lot more vulnerable when you're sleeping in a bush and or a tent. It's like camping is one thing, but when you're living a certain set lifestyle, living in a tent can be quite rough. It's not the roughest way of living, but it can get a little depressing for some individuals. And I just think that you, if you find yourself in a good position in life, it's not necessarily a matter of being like, oh, well, I've put in all this hard work, so I mean, what do I owe you? You don't owe individuals anything, but you do sort of owe kindness and respect. And obviously, there are a lot of individuals out here who are toxic, you know, and you don't want to embody these toxic behaviors, because obviously that's going to set you back. That's going to bring you down, and that's unnecessary weight that you don't need in order for you to move forward in life. So take what you will from what I've just said, but I do know that it is most certainly required to make good decisions when it comes to your housing. And, you know, sometime or another you do have to step into adulthood and realize you probably, you know, I can only speak from my own experiences, but partying all the time doesn't get things done. It doesn't get the things done that you need to get done. And if you keep avoiding the things that you need to get done, it's going to build up. And this is where I find myself, obviously, you know, I found myself partying a lot, you know, when I was younger, and it's a vicious cycle. And obviously everybody likes to blow off steam every now and then, but the party has to stop one time or another, right? So as I said, take what you will from what I've said in this video. I do believe, though, if you are trying to seek help, you do need to sort of help yourself when it comes to these things. So I guess the moral of the story is, don't judge a book by its cover, and I guess try to stay on planet Earth, and I guess understand why people show up the way they show up. You know, it's not always going to be because of you. Not everything is because of you. Certain people don't act certain ways because of you. And if they did, I'm sure you would know about it, right? So yeah, Tom will do it. I absolutely appreciate the hoodie. I cannot remember your name for the life of me, but I do appreciate this hoodie, because obviously, you know, I do find myself, you know, in a little bit of a tough time here, but obviously tough times don't last, tough people do. So whatever you can do is keep moving forward, and yeah, just look out for one another. And obviously, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be on a financial level, but, you know, just, you know, a few kind words goes a long way. I'll say that much. But yeah, Tom will do it. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and or play some playlists or something like that. I am on the journey to 4K watch hours. I do find them fluctuating quite a lot, obviously, and I haven't been posting recently, but I am going to try and post more regularly, because obviously that's what I want to do. And I mean, I've got this far on YouTube. I've got 2,600 subscribers at the moment. You know, and fingers crossed I can keep them going up. And I do find myself, you know, as I just said, fluctuating with the watch hours. But let's just say if I can manage to get my watch hours up to where they need to be, then it can help me get to a certain level. And all you need to do is watch my videos, you know, just in your spare time and things like that. You know, obviously I do look at trying to better my videos, and well, yeah, obviously the quality of some of my videos aren't the flashiest, and obviously, you know, some of my videos don't make sense or anything like that, but it's just a matter of trial and error. And I highly recommend, if you want to do similar things like I've said in a previous video, go for it. I don't see the difference in doing YouTube and or TikTok. It's the exact same thing. I just think that TikTok's probably a little bit easier, and that's why a lot of people don't pursue YouTube. So this is obviously why I'm pursuing YouTube, because it's deemed as harder. So yeah, let's go, Tom will do it. Keep it real.